Hi everybody, Laurie here, and welcome to tonight's version of Tips in 10. Now, I know we're very busy as moms. I'm going to put this down here. We're very busy as moms, and so what I want to do is really keep these tips really simple, really short, and in 10 minutes. So, my question to you tonight is, what is your life story? All right? We know that everyone really loves a good story. Am I right? And stories have a way of inspiring us and connecting us and propelling us and healing us, all right? And even firing us up. So hi, I'm Laurie Joy, the Mojo Mama, and I'm going to share a tip in 10 minutes or less on how to turn your shit show into your mojo. So I want to ask you, because I see this a lot with the mamas in which I coach, what are the stories that you personally stick to? Now, I've heard a lot of them over the years doing the Mojo Mama. And some of the things that I've heard, I have them written down here. I'm not an early riser. I'm genetically this big. I'm someone who doesn't finish things. I'm too busy to do anything for myself. If you're there, say hi, ladies. Don't be shy. And in reality, those are just stories. Now, we have cultivated these stories for years, maybe even decades. Things that we believe to be true, and we hold on to them either to keep us safe, to keep us small, to keep us from rejection, to keep us from putting ourselves out there, whatever the reason may be. But keep in mind, hi Lindsay, that these are just a story that we have told ourselves over and over and over again, to the fact where we believe it. We believe these stories that we've put in our minds, right? So I want you to think about right now, while you're here with me live, thank you for being here, or watching the replay, what is the story that you have cultivated and stick to? Okay. What is it? You can either post it below if you feel the need, or you feel like you need to get it off your chest, or you can just think about it. Okay. Sorry, my hair's driving me crazy. So you'll get to know that I also like, not only do I love to teach, but I love quotes. So let me share this quote about, stories, and it comes from Albert Einstein. And he says, "The world is a dangerous place. Not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing." Now, I'm asking you tonight in this quick tip in 10, what do you want to change in your story? What part of the story can you change? What part of it can you tweak? Or what story can you change that you've been harboring for so long altogether? Okay, so here are some ways that you can change your story really quickly. The first thing is you can rewrite this story in your head. So for example, instead of saying, "I'm not an early riser," now you just switch it and say, "I enjoy getting up early in the morning. I'm more productive when I get up early in the morning. I love getting up early in the morning." Now, let me tell you, I was not an early riser either. This was a story that I stuck to for many years. And it wasn't until I started to turn my own shit show into my mojo that I decided in order to be productive and have that me time that I needed to get up earlier than everybody else in my house. Now, please understand, I was the most reluctant to this, but I started to change that story. So I was a snooze mama, skipped breakfast, slept as long as I possibly could, got up, brushed, and went to work. Now, if any of you feel that way, or even agree with me, or see yourself in that model, I've been there. I've done it. And I've changed my story. So some people will see me on Instagram stories in the morning, and you'll see me going out to work out early in the morning. And people will send me a message and say, "That's gross. How could you do that? Blah, blah, blah." So the first thing I want you to do is to rewrite that story in your head. All right. The second thing, once you've literally written it out, or even literally physically written it out, I want you to start to believe it. So you go to bed and you say a mantra, you say it over to yourself, you let it pop up on as a reminder on your phone, whatever it may be, start to believe it. Because the most resistance that we feel when we start to change our story is right here in between our ears, right? So rewrite that story. Second of all, believe it. And then third thing you want to do is put some action behind it. So if you want to change a habit, the only way it's going to happen is if you start to tweak and change it in small steps, in small moments, not giving everything up all at once. I all of a sudden didn't start to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning after being a reluctant riser for how many years. It started with getting up 15 minutes earlier. And then it went to 20, and then it went to half an hour, and then it went to 45 minutes, and then it went to an hour. And that's how it happened. It was progressive. It wasn't instantaneous. It wasn't something that I did right away. I just made it happen slowly, right? I rewrote my story. I am an early riser. I'm more productive when I get up in the morning. I started to believe it. Right? Because I started to do it. So here I was, proof in the pudding, right? And then I started to put the action behind it. The fourth thing that you want to do when you start to change your story is not to do it alone. We don't have to become this wonderful new version of us and slug it out just by ourselves. All right? So in this tip in 10, what story can you start to change tomorrow? There is no better day or way than to start and start now. So I can't go a day without coffee. I could never do that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. Oh, I'm so busy. Whatever that story is, what story can you start to change tomorrow? By doing the 4 things that I mentioned, right? Rewriting your story, believing your story, putting action behind it, and then having someone be your accountability partner for it. John Maxwell talks about being a story liver and not a story teller. So stop saying that out loud to people. Stop saying your story to people. Stop saying it to yourself and start to change it. Now, if you need a group of supportive mamas to help you do this, do not hesitate to join my free Facebook group, Mojo Mamas on the Move. Just search us out, request to join. And I encourage all of you who are watching either live or in the replay to decide on a story that you can change and change it tomorrow. Start to rewrite it maybe tomorrow. And then maybe next week we start to believe it. And then maybe next week at the end of the week, we start to put action behind it, small action behind it. And then we start to tell people a different story. Like John Maxwell says, ladies, be a story liver and not a storyteller. I look forward to meeting you in my free Facebook group. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow.